Welcome everyone. My name is Peter Seidel. I'm the Partner Public Interest Law at Arnold Bloch Leibler, and on behalf of the partners and staff of Arnold Bloch Leibler, and particularly my colleagues Bridget Cowling, Caitlin Edwards and Jess Wills of our Public Interest Law Charities Law team, we welcome you here to Arnold Bloch Leibler. Now, thank you for coming. We're really excited about the discussion that will unfold, the presentations that will unfold as well today. Welcome also to those on Zoom. I've been bestowed the honour of making an acknowledgement of country, and I would like to do that. I acknowledge the traditional owners of the lands that we're on here today, the Wurundjeri peoples of the Kulin Nation. And I also acknowledge that the sovereignty of the Wurundjeri peoples and the sovereignty of First Nations people over every square inch of Australia has never been ceded, including the lands upon which each and every one of us are zooming in today. I would just like to pause before I continue and briefly reflect on what that acknowledgement that sovereignty has never been ceded means to me from my perspective. Before I do that, to set a context, I'd like to describe what I understand it may possibly mean to Aboriginal peoples, without, of course, speaking on behalf of Aboriginal peoples. There are two aspects to sovereignty as I understand it: an external sovereignty at the international level, and it relates to the concepts of nationhood and the rights of traditional owners, First Peoples in Australia, to negotiate with nations internationally. There's also an internal aspect to sovereignty, how power is distributed domestically, and that brings in innate senses of identity, of land justice, political and legal justice. My understanding for Aboriginal peoples, it may be a combination of these, or it may be one or the other. And so it may have different meanings with different emphasis to different First Nations peoples. For non-Indigenous Australians like me, for this acknowledgement to truly have meaning and work to do can only mean a commitment to make space for these alternative interpretations, to leave it to First Nations people to determine what sovereignty means through treaty making, negotiations, and real seats at the tables of power. Because if we fail in our very best efforts to support these ground-up movements, then we failed at the very first hurdle to act in solidarity with Indigenous peoples. And that's something that's very dear to us at Arnold Bloch Leibler. And if we fail at that first step, then all our words and all our acknowledgements that sovereignty has never been ceded are just empty. They're platitudes and they're patronising. And so with an acknowledgement of country must surely come a reciprocal obligation to, at the very least, do our utmost to support the Uluru Statement from the Heart and to help dismantle all disempowering and paternalistic legal structures, whether they be in the law of charity or elsewhere, and well beyond, to enable the necessary shifts in power for Indigenous voices and perspectives to be heard and forever locked in, accorded proper respect and due dignity. So that's my acknowledgement. From my attempt at the sublime to the mundane, my other task is to let you know where the toilets are. Thank you, Bridget, for that. The toilets, as you may have found already, are just past reception. And also, if you need Wi-Fi access, please ask at reception, although Bridget's just shown you that again. My other task, and it's good to end on a high, is to introduce Dr. Ian Murray, as you all know, the chair of CLAANZ. And Dr. Murray is from the University of Western Australia, and we're delighted to have Ian present with his initial thoughts on today's conference. So thank you.